AITAH for insulting my girlfriend's parents after I found out that they enabled cheating and breaking up with my girlfriend when she defended them. Story 1. I, 21M, have been dating my now ex-girlfriend 20F for 6 months. We met in university. But she is from another country and came here to study, so during the academic year I did not have the opportunity to meet her parents. I don't think that's relevant, but we are both from Europe. During the summer vacations, she and her parents invited me to stay with them for a while. My girlfriend is very humble, so she never talked about her family money, but I figured out pretty quickly that her parents were quite rich, certainly much richer than my family. My father left my mother for another woman when I was 6 years old. They separated, and since then my mother raised me by herself. My father ignored me for years. When I was a teenager, he suddenly reminded himself of my existence, but I wanted nothing to do with him. My mom never remarried. Although higher education here is mostly free, sending me to study in a big city was a major financial burden for her. I had a part-time job from the beginning of my studies, but still there were times when it was difficult for me to make ends meet. My girlfriend always wanted to help me in such situations, but I was too proud to accept her help. She must have told her parents about it, because they paid for my plane tickets and assured me that I didn't have to worry about any expenses during the trip. So I went on the plane, my GF picked me up from the airport, and took me to her parents' house. They both seemed very nice and considerate. They gave us a lot of privacy, but offered to show me around the city one day if I and my GF wanted to. I said I'd be happy to, and a few days later we spent a whole day with my girlfriend's parents, sightseeing, going to museums, etc. We had a good time. The next day, the girl's parents suggested that if we wanted, we could go to dinner with them and a couple of their friends, let's call them John and Kate, in the evening, to which we agreed. John and Kate were both in their 50s. They were well-mannered and interesting people, and I actually got along pretty well with them, since they both work in fields in which I'm interested in publishing and media. But when we got back home, my GF's mom said to my GF's dad something about John going somewhere with his wife. I was confused and said, "What do you mean? Kate is not his wife." They looked at each other and explained that John and Kate have been lovers for almost 20 years, and that John has a wife with whom he lives and adult children, but spends a few days a week with Kate. They said it as if it was the most normal thing in the world. GF's mom even added that John wanted to leave his wife for Kate years ago, but Kate talked him out of it, said she never wanted a husband because she preferred to live alone and couldn't imagine herself as a wife and mother. I was shocked but also furious. I utterly hate cheaters, and people who enable cheating. My father's infidelity completely ruined my mother and our family. I was disgusted that I'm staying at the house of people who are good friends with a cheater and his mistress and treat it like something normal and natural. I asked if John's wife knew about Kate. GF's mom said they had no idea because they never talked to his wife. They met John and Kate as a couple and always spend time with the two of them. GF's dad said John's wife most likely figured it out, because it's hard to hide an affair for that long. Disgusted, I exclaimed that they are terrible people, as terrible as their cheating friends. My girlfriend's parents were very surprised, but tried to stay calm. They said some bullshit about how love is a complicated matter and that there is no reason to interfere in the private lives of others because we never know the whole story. I said I wanted nothing to do with them and left the room. My girlfriend ran after me. She was angry that I insulted her parents while they had been nothing but kind to me for the past couple of days. I said she shouldn't defend them and asked if it bothered her that her parents are friends with people who are in an extramarital affair. She said John and Kate are friends of her parents, not her friends, so that it is not her place to interfere. I told her that she is the same as her parents and that if she was an ethical person, she should convince them to break contact with John and Kate and reveal the affair to John's wife, and if they were unwilling to do so, she should break contact with her parents herself. I went NC with my father when he turned out to be an asshole. It's not that hard. Family is not everything. She started crying and said that I'm crazy to expect that of her, and that she loves her parents. She said that my father had abandoned me, so it was understandable that I had broken contact with him, but that her parents had always been loving and supportive of her, and that it would be cruel to break contact with them because of some abstract moral high ground, her words. So I told her that I'm leaving and that our relationship is over. I spent absolutely all my savings on a plane ticket for the next day. My buddy transferred the small missing amount to me. I promised to pay him back as soon as possible and returned home. My ex-girlfriend tried repeatedly to contact me, but I did not answer. It seemed to me that I did the right thing and acted in accordance with my principles. I can't imagine a relationship with someone who accepts cheating, even as a bystander, and with someone whose parents have no moral values. However, our mutual friends believe that I acted cruelly, that I offended the GF's parents when I was their guest, and that I should apologize. I don't think I should. I was their guest only because they are lucky to have more money than I do. It doesn't mean anything. AITAH? First comment. AITAH. Do you truly lack the self-awareness to see how unhinged you were? Get help before you hurt anyone else when you get triggered and decide to project your unresolved issues. You aren't the only one out there whose family was impacted by infidelity, but you're one of very few acting like a gigantic dick to other people because of it, especially when the issue is literally so far removed from you that you don't even know some of the people or circumstances involved. Jesus Christ, dude. Second comment. You have the moral high ground regarding the cheating. No one should ever treat their partner like that. However, in your effort to demonstrate how morally superior you are, you behave childish, rude, and hurtful towards your GF's parents who showed you nothing but generosity and kindness. And you hurt and ghosted your girlfriend because she wasn't willing to cut off her parents, which is, quite frankly, a ridiculous ask. So while you may be right to not condone cheating, you also treated the girl you supposedly love terrible, and therefore, in the end, are really no better than a cheater. Congrats, AITAH. I agree with you on the cheating, but the world is not just black or white, and people are more than their worst actions. The sooner you learn this, the easier your life will be. Third comment. AITAH for how you reacted. You were in their home that they paid for you to come visit. They were kind to you, and you flipped out and called them horrible PPL because they don't know the intricacies of a friend's marriage relationship. The wife probably knows. It could be an open marriage. It could be that the wife is with that guy for financial security rather than love. Not that it condones cheating, but your reaction was extreme. Get off your judgy high horse because your behavior was downright uncalled for. Telling your GF of 6 months to cut contact with her parents because of their friends? Get therapy to help with your daddy issues because you royally effed this one up. My mom cheated on my dad. I was pissed. I thought to myself, how could she betray him after everything he's done and they went through? I was ready to burn it all down. Then I talked to my dad. Turns out they were in an open marriage, and I nearly blasted my mom to the entire family. My dad and mom both have other partners. It's not ideal. It's not what I would want for my marriage, but it's not my place to judge as long as they are both happy and content with their decisions. Point blank, you don't know the situation, and you reacted like you not only knew but that you knew best. That makes you very firmly the asshole here. Story 2. AITAH for telling my wife I wouldn't have stayed with her if she had wanted to wait until marriage. 31M here. Met my wife in college, and we've been married for the last 2 years. My wife was raised in a Catholic family, and her parents always set the expectation that she should wait until marriage to have sex. My family has never cared about that, and have always let us share a bed when we stay at their place. We're pretty open about sex in general. My wife never bought into her family's beliefs, and we started sleeping together after we started dating. She also slept with her high school boyfriend and another guy from college before we got together, so I don't think I influenced her decision. She's always hated her family's views on sex and never once mentioned waiting until marriage when we were dating. But now her younger brother is engaged to a woman who wears a promise ring and is vocal about her beliefs that sex should be between a married couple. She was telling us about it a few days ago, and my wife said it was sweet. On the drive home, she asked what I would have said if she told me she wanted to wait until marriage when we first started dating. I told her my college self probably would have said we should go our separate ways. I explained that sex is a big deal to me and makes me feel connected to my partner, and I'd be worried that our values beliefs were too different if she wanted to wait until marriage. This really upset my wife, which really surprised me because she's not usually sensitive about these things and knows how much I love her. She said she was shocked that I'd leave her if she didn't sleep with me before we were married. She said she might get sick or have a baby, and she asked if I'd leave her if she couldn't have sex for a while in either of those situations. I said absolutely not, because one, that's different, and two, I know and love her now in a way that I didn't when we first started dating in college. I also told her that if she'd come to me after we'd had dated for a while and said she didn't want to have sex for whatever reason, I would have stayed with her because I loved her and was fully invested within a year of US dating. My wife is still pretty upset. I don't understand why, and she can't get the idea that I wouldn't have stayed with her if she hadn't slept with me early in our relationship. She's going through a lot right now, just had a miscarriage, and has stress at work, so I'm not sure if any of this has something to do with her reaction. AITAH for telling my wife I wouldn't have stayed with her if she wanted to wait until marriage. First comment. TA. But the timing of this right after a miscarriage is relevant, I think. She's probably looking for reassurance that you love her unconditionally, like if she can't give you a healthy baby. There can be a lot of guilt with miscarriages. You should have a conversation with your wife about what she's feeling. Second comment. NTA. Sex is an important part of a relationship for some people. It boils down to a values thing at some level. Maybe she has some lingering Catholic guilt now that her brother is marrying this very religious person. Just assure her you love her for more than sex. Never want her to do something she isn't feeling.